Okay, I think we are officially live. Um, are we? Yes, we are. Awesome. Now, I just want to make sure that I can play the audio.
So do you have Sharon Khan's views on Abraham sacrificing Isaac or Kaidagar? Thanks again. I haven't looked at Khan's views on Abraham sacrificing Isaac.
All right, perfect. Now, I'm sorry if my audio quality isn't the best. I am sitting outside right now, but it's actually really nice outside. And I thought that I would just, respond to a few videos on veganism that I've seen in the past few days. And I thought it'd be really interesting to jump on live. This is my first live stream that I've done. So it's just testing it out. I might do more, I might not, but I thought it'd be really cool to sort of have a look at some of the few vegan arguments and sort of debunk them as I'm live. So let's jump into this now. This guy, Coach Zahabi. Now I've seen him somewhere before. I don't recognize where from. Um, but let's have a look at. So this video is titled "Coach Sahabi on Veganism." So let's just start this video. Just get straight into it.
From a moral standpoint, question mark. Also, do you have Sharon Khan's views on Abraham sacrificing Isaac or Kaidagar? Thanks again. I haven't looked at Khan's views on Abraham sacrificing Isaac or Kierkegaard. I'll look that up. That's very interesting. Now, Kant has an ocean of works. It would take a lifetime to cover them all. I'm very interested in Kant. I absolutely love Kant. Why am I not a vegan? That's a very interesting question. Look, I'm not against veganism. However, I don't think it's morally superior. Okay, let me.
Interesting. And I love how everyone starts off. Whenever someone starts off an argument, most of the time before they sort of debunk veganism, they started off with, I have nothing against veganism. And it's true. Like, what do you have against veganism? There's literally nothing against veganism. And when people say that, they usually just mean, I'm okay with other people being vegan. So I'm really curious to hear what he has to say, what his
Let me
argument
explain to you why.
is going to be based around.
Why are insects' life not important? Look at Jainism, for instance. I think that we can go too far. Okay, we can go too far in our preserved life. Life depends on death. I believe this. I believe that for some to live, others have to die. I didn't make the rules. This is the world we live in. Now, let me explain, okay? Because I know it's going to sound a little bit barbaric, okay? But let me explain to you why I don't think veganism is morally superior. Okay, I'm an omnivore. I eat everything. I eat everything. Now I've lowered my level of meat consumption, and people start calling me vegan. It's incredible. Like I've said, literally, I remember when I was talking about how I adjusted my diet, and I love to talk about diet. I'm fascinated with diet, guys. I study diet all the time. I read books on it. I love nutrition. I love it. I believe that diet and exercise, if you do it right, oh man, you have this incredible feeling. You have this. I feel like I can get higher on. Not that I do drugs or ever done drugs, but I feel like the guy, whatever drugs he's using, I believe diet and exercise is better than his drug. I believe I feel a greater sense of well-being, a greater joy, and he just doesn't know that it's his diet and exercise that's wrong, and that's why he tries to self-medicate with alcohol and drugs. I think if you balance alcohol and exercise correctly, and you can go to higher levels of perfecting it, you get this feeling of well-being, of energy, of like, I feel so good, I feel so joyful, I feel so high, I feel so happy. So I really think this is a very important science that needs to be addressed, because I think people who eat junky foods and all that, they don't know that they're also drug addicts. Sugar is a more addictive drug than cocaine. Okay. So, anyways, back to veganism. Look at the Jains. The Jains, some of the extreme Jains to religion, they won't even boil water. They say if you boil water, you're killing the bacteria. Those bacteria have a right to live. I believe this is extreme. If I let those bacteria live, I'm gonna die. The Jains, not all Jains, to be fair, but the extreme Jains, they won't even boil water. They believe that boiling water is wrong because you're taking a life. Now, I have to ask the vegans, you're killing countless insects. When you farm, you're killing countless insects. And what about the life of the plant? Now, humor me for a second. Tell me it's not an important life.
Okay, so that's the angle that he's chosen to take. Pretty standard argument, pretty stock standard. Well, what about plants' life? What about insects' life? And I honestly, whenever I think that someone's going to have some intelligent argument, whenever I think that someone's going to say something that's actually going to make me think, I get a little bit excited because, like, I do want to hear different viewpoints. I do want to hear, you know, people come to me with different reasoning, different explanations. But plants have lives. It's such a standard argument. Now let's talk about it. What about the life of insects? What about the life of plants? And I sort of get when people think of veganism, it's sort of like, oh, it's about having, zero cruelty. But it's not. It's about minimizing as much as we can the amount of cruelty that we exert on this planet. It's not about, you're never going to have zero violence. You're never going to have zero cruelty, but it's about minimizing as much as we can. And when you talk about insects, when you talk about plants, you are going to kill insects. That's just the reality of the world we live in. To make food, even for plant based foods, you're going to kill insects. But the alternative is meat. Let's talk about meat. Far more insects, far more plants are killed to produce meat than they are killed to produce plant based foods. So let's say, even if you are hell bent on insects' life, even if you are hell bent on plants' life, maybe you're a plant life activist, it would make sense for you to go vegan because less plants are killed in the process to make plant-based foods than it is to make meat or even dairy. Like, look at how much food is required. Look how much plants are required to sustain animals, to sustain cows, chickens, all these animals that you're going to eventually kill and eat. The amount of resources that they take up, not just food, but in terms of water. And to to sort of compare that to veganism, I think it falls flat because even if you are a plant life activist, you would choose to go vegan because less animals are killed. Sorry, less, obviously, no animals are killed, less insects are killed, less plants are killed to produce plant based foods than they are killed to produce meat. So even if you do care about insects and plants, then go vegan.
But plants, we know, if you talk to them and you can say that they have some level of pain or pleasure, some level, because plants avoid pain. For instance, if there's a harm in their way, they'll grow a particular way. Like if you watch the growth of a plant and fast forward, you'll see that it's adjusting to its environment. It's adjusting to its environment. It's a life. Now you're deciding to kill it and eat it and consume it. But you're gonna tell me, well, it's a plant. It doesn't have conscious thinking. It's not so high up. It's not so sophisticated. It doesn't have a character. It doesn't have a personality. It doesn't have like this. It's so low on the life scale. It's so low on development that you know. Okay, so I cut up a salad and I ate it. So what? That life. It's not thinking life and death. It's so oblivious to future events. And that's exactly how I feel about animals. Okay, humor me for a second. I personally wouldn't eat my dog. I don't have a dog, but I've had dogs in the past. I would personally wouldn't eat my dog. Why? I have a relationship with him. He's my friend. However, a chicken is so low on the hierarchy of awareness. It's so low. It's so dumb. It's so oblivious to what's going on around it that if I take its life, it's not thinking at a level. Oh, here's the thing about human beings. Here's why I would never kill a human being. Human beings, not only the human beings are made. Look at the human mind. It's so. We're talking about philosophy of mind here, guys. We're taking a page out of the philosophy of mind. Human beings not only can live in the present, like we could talk about now, the now. Right now, we're doing a podcast together. But we could also remember past events. Animals don't do this. Animals do this instinctively. From what we know, they they have very little ability.
All right, so chickens, they're so oblivious to what's around them, and obviously I disagree with that strongly. But what about? And he brings up that he wouldn't kill his dog because he has a relationship with his dog, and he wouldn't kill humans. But what about, you know, humans who are brain dead? Not brain dead, or humans who, you know, are handicapped. Who can't think like other people do. Is it okay to kill and eat them just because they can't think? They're not as intelligent as other human beings. So if you look at any argument that people present to you in terms of veganism, especially when they talk about hierarchy of animals from how intelligent they are, um, you can just easily compare that to humans and their arguments would fall flat. For example, killing an animal is okay because they're low on the hierarchy of intelligence. Then is it okay to kill and eat a human being who is, not as intelligent, who doesn't know anything, or is mentally handicapped and, wheelchair bound? Is it okay to kill and eat them because they're not, let's say they have the same intelligence as the animal that he's talking about? Is it okay to kill and eat them? Of course it's not. It's morally not okay. So any argument that someone brings up in relation to a hierarchy of intelligence of animals, obviously animals are far more intelligent than we think that they are. But to suggest that it's okay to kill and eat animals because they're not intelligent, it's stupid. It's dumb. It's a dumb argument to make. And I just assumed that he seems like an intelligent guy. He would make, the way he speaks is well spoken. I thought that he would make a much smarter argument for, against veganism, but it's just the obvious, plants have lives. Um, animals' lives aren't worth as much, and that's the thing. You don't have to put animals in the same level as humans to go vegan. You don't have to be an animal lover to go vegan, but is the worth of an animal life is an animal life worth more than 10 seconds of your taste bud pleasure? That's what it comes down to. You're not equating an animal life to human life. You're creating an animal life to a few seconds of taste bud pleasure. That's what it comes down to. So let's see what he has to say.
Ability to recall their childhood. Okay, like for instance, I could recall my childhood. I could sit here and tell you about what happened to me on my 10th birthday. Not only can I live in the past, I can go rewind, but I could also live in the future. I can hope to live a certain life in the future. And even further than that, human beings are very special because human beings, we can actually visualize living forever. So our minds are working on a completely different level or four-dimensional level, let's call it, than
I don't get that. What do you mean? I don't get what he means by living forever. That's so human beings are capable of living in a fantasy world. Like that just makes no sense. Everyone knows no one's going to live forever. I don't know what he means by that.
an animal. That's why I think it's permissible to kill an animal. Like it's not thinking on these levels. The cow is so oblivious to what's going on around it. He only worries about drinking, eating, defecating, sleeping. That's
He just described a baby. Like, is it okay to kill and eat a baby? All they care about is about, drinking, sleeping, defecating, and crying. Like they're so oblivious to what's around them. A newborn baby, is it okay to kill a newborn baby? Is that what he's suggesting? Like, see how this argument just falls flat on face? Like, it makes no sense. And it's a really simple argument to debunk. Let's see what else he has to say.
it. That's all. That's as far as he can think.
Yeah, like same with that. Like babies can't think in the past. They can't think in the future. They're so oblivious. They're living. They're not as intelligent as other human beings. So I don't know what he's suggesting here.
He's so oblivious. He's so low on the IQ scale that I think it's permissible. Just like you see the plant is so low, I see the animal is so low. Now, for instance, if you look at the pig has an IQ level higher than a dog. Actually, if I remember correctly, it's like the age of a 7-year-old. Let me look at it again. Pigs are super smart. Okay, let me look that up again. I remember it's like the age of a 7-year-old. What is the IQ of a pig? Are pigs as intelligent as dogs? Uh, are pigs highly intelligent? This is too long to read. Okay, but look, pigs are far more intelligent. Not so for a chicken. Okay, chicken is completely oblivious, and they run tests on these animals. Okay, so for instance, they put them in the mirror. They put a red dot on the animal. If the if the animal touches the red dot on his forehead, he realizes he's looking into a mirror. If he touches the dot on the mirror, he has no idea that he's looking at his own reflection. They give them hierarchies of intelligence. Okay, so I really think that you have to be careful with animals of higher IQ, because that's, if you look at all the farmed animals, all of the farmed animals, it's only pig that's super intelligent. Us Muslims, we don't need pigs. Jews, we don't need pigs. They don't need pig. They don't need swine. Is it because of that? We have no, listen, I'm not saying it's the reason why. Don't misquote me here. I'm just saying it makes sense to me in a way. We traditionally don't eat dog. When we traditionally don't eat pig, we never had access to eating dolphins. So it's normal that we boycotted the farmed animals that were highly intelligent. Okay. That's how I feel about it. I feel like it's a question of, it's a gray area. Where do we draw the line? I draw the line at the most low IQ animals.
You draw the line at any living creature. Like that's where you draw the line. I don't. It just, this argument makes no sense. Like he's obviously taken, obviously he doesn't eat pigs, he doesn't eat dogs, and he's morphed it into his own reality where he justifies that it's fine to eat these animals and boycott these other animals. So are you just saying that all of the farmed animals are intelligent? Cows are intelligent. Cows have been proven time and again to be intelligent. They show emotion. They cry. They're happy. They respond to names. Just like any other animal. Why is it okay to kill that and not another creature? Can you see what I'm saying? Like his argument based on intelligence keep this guy away from newborn babies because apparently they don't count. Like if you're not oblivious to your surroundings, if you're just a newborn baby and you're still developing, but you're not, you're just, all you care about is sleeping, eating, crying, and defecating. It's completely fine to kill and eat you. That's what his argument is saying. And even if you're a human being, and let's say unfortunately you are mentally handicapped and you're not as intelligent, maybe there are people who have the intelligence of a baby. Something's not right. Is it okay to kill and eat them? you know it just makes no sense.
They're not thinking of future. They have no ability to think of the future. I wouldn't eat my cat. My cat is pretty smart. He's pretty smart. Would I eat my goldfish? Not really because of taste, but if he was delicious, yeah, I would eat him. Why? I don't have the same rapport with him. Just like you don't have a rapport with your salad. Okay, so that's
So he just equated plants to animals, and pretty easy one to sort of debunk because it's plants. Obviously, like, you can either take the route that plants don't have, plants can't feel pain, but some people, they're just so, they come they sort of just dismiss that, dismiss the fact that plants have feelings. um, Plants don't feel pain, but I like to come to that argument with the fact that, let's say even if plants do feel pain, let's pick out of eating meat and going vegan, which kills less plants, which process kills far less plants. Far more plants are killed in a process to make meat than to make plant-based foods. Same with insects. Far more insects are killed in the process to make meat than plant-based foods. So even if you did give a shit about plants or insects, it would make sense to go vegan. It's about minimizing our harm, not completely eradicating it. So that's Coach Zahabi on veganism. Pretty standard, you know, um, beginner level argument. Let's go to someone who is a genius in their field, who knows everything and anything. My favorite person in the whole wide world, and his name is. I'm just gonna get this up. My favorite person, Jordan Peterson. Best person in the whole wide world. I love this guy. Obviously, I'm joking. This guy is a toolhead. But let's see what he has to say about veganism.
But I really am hoping that this debate is released soon, because one of the people on the other side who was rallying against meat delivered the most preposterously unsatirizable, politically correct rant that I'd ever seen anyone deliver anywhere by a factor of about 5. She just about made me convulse. And part of it was sympathy, because it was so over the top. It was so utterly miraculous that anyone could. And two of her compatriots were sitting in the audience. She said things like, "Every hamburger is served with a side order of misogyny," which is a really good line. They crafted that line. It's a pretty good joke. But,
Why
she
misogyny?
said, because she associated
I don't know
the
why the
oppression
audio
of
is like
women
this.
with the
Sorry, guys.
oppression of farm animals, which is like, it's a dangerous territory to wander into, that analogy. And she said that she compared the husbandry of animals to slavery, which is also like a place that you wander into with real care when you choose your metaphors. And she said the reason we're bombarded with images of sexy chickens and sexy cows is because we feminize our farm animals before devouring them.
Hold, please. Are we bombarded with images of sexy chickens? Because
sexy chickens and pigs. It wasn't cows. Well, cows, you know how sexy they are, so that's forgivable.
Miss
but
Piggy? Is Miss Piggy? She's our only one. Is that bombarded? Is this woman on a Miss Piggy rampage?
Sexy chickens is like,
what fucking sexy chickens are there?
Hey, man, you tell me. But I did feel
that sounds crazy.
Whatever it was she was doing. But I did feel bad for her while I was convulsing because I really did, because I thought, and so it was painful at the same time, which is partly why I was sweating. But it was
performance art.
On with the debate.
I don't know what that was about. The guy just has no. I don't even think he even knows what he says sometimes.
I call upon Kara Adams to conclude the side proposition.
I've read the motion, and I believe we should move beyond all meat. So, what we choose to eat has consequences far beyond the circumference of our plates. Specifically, your vote tonight expresses your allegiance to or rejection of a white supremacist patriarchal worldview. Do we vote to further inequality and sustain world-destroying violence? In the sexual politics of meat, I introduced the concept of animals as absent reference. In order to be eaten, animals must disappear as living beings, that is, be killed. They then disappear conceptually, as so many forms in which we eat animals' corpses are misogyned by white colonial authorities, the Native Americans, from the bosom of the earth. Animals, you take up more climate space, requiring more water, more land, more forest deforestation, contributing more greenhouse gases. This is felt disproportionately by country. Production by female animals. Yet popular culture is flooded with references to sexy cows, disabling practices. So I've never seen a meat eater leap into the road to save a carrot from being run over by.
All right, so I think this is the video that Jordan Peterson was talking about. And I have to say that, she does bring up a lot of good points. Obviously, she is vegan. She's advocating for, people to go vegan. But this is where the problem of intersectionality sort of comes up. Like, she brings up good points, especially the point about climate change and points about, plants feeling pain. What you eat has a big impact on climate change. So if you care about climate change, going plant-based is, the way to go. Obviously, you should do it for the animals, but when you sort of intersectionalize that with things around, political topics such as feminism and other issues, I am a feminist. I get it. There is a link there, but what you're doing is you're giving people like Jordan Peterson easy talking points to just disprove you. Even if you bring up good points, good factual points, they just take whatever they'll take the easiest thing that it is to argue against. And for them, that's feminism. That's all they do. That's all Jordan Peterson does, is argue against feminism. And he'll just use that part. He'll just debate against that part. But what he'll never do is debate, is the counterpoint, the argument for climate change, or the argument that, it uses so many resources, meat and dairy eating. So that's what he's pretty much done. He's taking a low-hanging fruit, which is his political forte, feminism, because he is a men's right activist, this douchebag that is Jordan Peterson. But yeah, I feel like that's, like, I don't see anything wrong with what she's saying, but it just gives people easy talking points, and they just disregard everything else she said because she said this small thing, this one little thing about feminism. So that's that in Jordan Peterson's voice. Let's have a look. So look at this. I'm a big fan of David Rams. Makes good content. That's funny. But I'm sure he said some things about veganism that I'm trying to find. I can't. Okay. Lifting. All right. I'm a big fan of Lifting Vegan Logic. If you're not subscribed to him, you should subscribe to him. Makes a lot of good content, pretty much debunking these idiots like Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson. But I feel like that's, yeah, like it's not that hard. Once you know that, it's pretty sad, to be honest. Like, I want people to come to me with good points, with good arguments, but it's always like the smartest people. I'm not talking about Jordan Peterson, of course, but like even people that I've spoken to, the smartest people, intelligent people who are compassionate, who have morals. But when it comes to veganism, it just all falls flat, and it all goes down to plants have feelings. You're killing insects, you're killing plants, or some stupid argument, and it's sort of like what Arvind, the animal activist, told me, that people want to hear good things about their good habits. People don't want to hear bad things about their habits. People do not want to hear bad things about their habits, and food is a big habit. Food is such a personal thing for so many people, but it's just breaking through these people because, you can live in ignorance, but when what you eat has such a big impact on the world around you, then you sort of have to, break that shell for a lot of people. I hope this is my first ever live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed so like this. If you did, I'd love to go live more often. Maybe answer your questions if you have any questions. But yeah, I had fun. This was fun, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you.